Hey everyone, welcome to our deep dive on resources for entrepreneurs.
Yeah, we're going to try to help you guys out with this whole entrepreneurship thing.
It's specifically for a high school entrepreneurship class. So,
You can think of this as your cheat sheet.
yeah, like your ultimate cheat sheet for finding all the resources you'll need
Wow.
to actually build your business dreams.
Yeah,
Kind of like having that toolkit ready before you even start building, right?
exactly. Like imagine trying to build a Lego masterpiece, but you don't have any of the instruction booklets.
Or like,
Or worse, you don't even have the right Lego bricks. Starting a business is kind of similar.
yeah.
You need the right resources. Those are your building blocks before you can create something awesome.
Okay, so let's dive into it. First up, we've got this treasure trove of information
Like a gold mine.
from the U.S. Small Business Administration.
You've probably heard of them.
You probably heard of them. They're called the SBA for short. And their website is seriously huge. Like they have pretty much everything you could ever need to know about starting and running a business.
The SBA is like that one friend who always has the answer no matter what you ask them.
Yeah.
They've got guides, checklists, templates, you name it.
Seriously.
And they break it all down in a way that's actually understandable, even for someone who's just starting out.
Okay, so first things first.
Like step one,
They've got this section called 10 Steps to Start Your Business.
which is basically your roadmap.
Yeah, it's basically a roadmap, like a step-by-step guide to get you going.
Step by step.
So if you're feeling lost or overwhelmed, that's a great place to start.
Right, like having a GPS for your business journey. They even have this thing called Boots to Business.
Wait, boots to business? That sounds pretty serious.
I know, right?
Is it like only for people who want to join the military or something?
That's actually a common misconception.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's actually open to veterans and their families, but it's also available to anyone who's interested in starting a business.
Oh, okay. Think of it like boot camp for entrepreneurs. You'll learn all the basics and you get like hands-on experience. Okay, that actually sounds really cool. But what about money?
Yeah.
Starting a business can be expensive, right? Does the SBA offer like loans or something?
They totally do. SBA loans are a big deal, especially for new businesses.
Okay.
And we actually found some cool info about this in a resource called Napkin Finance.
Okay.
They explain that SBA loans are actually backed by the government.
Hold on, the government backs these loans.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's not just about convincing a bank to give you money, like the government's got your back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that government guarantee makes a huge difference. Like, think about it this way.
That's crazy.
If you were a bank, would you be more likely to lend money to someone with a shaky credit history if you knew the government would step in if things went south?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably, right?
Makes total sense. No wonder companies like Apple and Chipotle got their start with SBA loans.
Yeah, speaking of Apple and Chipotle.
Napkin Finance mentioned how those companies actually used SBA loans to overcome some pretty big challenges early on.
Oh, wow.
And it wasn't just about getting money, it was about having that extra support to take risks and innovate.
Yeah,
It's a good reminder that even the biggest companies started somewhere and they needed help along the way.
that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Okay, so there are different types of SBA loans, right? I know Napkin Finance mentioned 7A loans and microloans. What's the difference?
So 7A loans are the most common type, and they can be used for a bunch of different things.
Like what?
Like buying equipment, getting working capital, or even buying real estate. But for you guys, microloans might be a better fit.
Okay.
They're smaller loans specifically for, well, micro enterprises.
Microenterprises, what are those?
Think of it as a fancy word for really small businesses.
Okay.
Sometimes even just a single person running the whole show.
Okay.
So if you're just starting out, a microloan could be a good way to get the funding you need without taking on a ton of debt.
Got it. And what about the whole credit score thing? Is it even possible to get an SBA loan if your credit isn't perfect? Because let's be real, most high schoolers probably haven't had much time to build up their credit history.
That's a really good question. And while having good credit definitely helps, it's not a deal breaker.
No.
Napkin Finance mentioned that there are options, even if your credit score isn't stellar.
Like what?
You could use personal credit, find a cosigner who has good credit, or even offer collateral.
Collateral.
Yeah, like a valuable asset that the bank can take if you don't repay the loan.
Oh, okay.
So there are ways.
That's actually reassuring, okay?
Mhm.
But what if you're not even sure what kind of business you want to start yet?
Mhm.
Like, what if you have a bunch of ideas, but you're not sure which one is the right fit?
Well, for that, I think those Kauffman Foundation videos we checked out might be super helpful.
Okay.
They talk about these things called resource clusters, which are basically groups of resources that are specific to the type of entrepreneur you are.
Resource clusters. That sounds kind of confusing. Can you explain that a bit more?
Okay, imagine different groups of superheroes, right? Each group has its own unique superpowers and tools to fight crime.
Okay.
Resource clusters are kind of like that.
Okay.
Each type of entrepreneur has access to specific tools and support that match their strengths and goals.
Okay. I'm starting to get it. So it's like if you're trying to create the next big tech thing, you'd need different resources than someone who's opening a local bakery.
Exactly. The Kauffman Foundation talks about four main clusters. Innovation-led for those high-tech startups and inventors, micro-enterprise for those smaller businesses focused on generating income and self-sufficiency,
Okay.
Main Street businesses for those local shops and restaurants that are the heart of our communities,
Right.
and second-stage companies for those businesses that are ready to scale up and expand.
So basically, if you figure out which cluster you fit into, you can find the resources that are specifically designed to help businesses like yours succeed. That's pretty smart.
It is, and they break it down even further,
Yeah.
highlighting specific resources within each cluster.
Okay.
For example, innovation-led startups often have access to things like high-tech incubators, angel investors, those are wealthy individuals who invest in startups,
Wow.
and university research partnerships.
That sounds intense.
Yeah.
But I guess if you're creating cutting-edge technology,
Yeah.
you need that kind of support.
Exactly.
What about the micro-enterprise cluster? What kind of resources do they get?
So for microenterprises, the resources often focus on providing access to funding and building essential business skills.
Okay.
Think things like micro-lending programs, which we already talked about,
Mm-hmm.
community development financial institutions. Those are organizations that provide financial services to underserved communities.
Okay.
And even training programs to help you develop those all-important business skills.
Okay. So it's like, even if you don't have a ton of experience or resources, there are still ways to get your business off the ground.
Exactly. And don't underestimate the power of community support. Yeah. Micro-enterprises often rely on networks of other small business owners, local mentors, and community organizations to help them succeed.
Makes sense. What about Main Street businesses?
Yeah.
I feel like those are the businesses we see every day, like our local coffee shops, bookstores, and restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of resources do they need?
So those Main Street businesses are all about building a strong local presence and serving their communities.
Yeah.
They might need help with things like finding affordable commercial space, marketing their products and services to local customers, and maybe even getting funding to improve their storefronts
Right.
and make their businesses more attractive.
That's cool. It's like they're not just businesses, they're part of the fabric of our community.
Exactly.
And lastly, we have those second stage companies.
Yes.
What sets them apart?
Think of them as the businesses that have already proven themselves and are ready to take things to the next level. They've moved beyond the startup phase and are looking to expand their market reach, maybe hire more employees, or even explore things like mergers and acquisitions.
Wow, that's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
So what kind of resources do they need? Probably not microloans anymore, right?
Definitely not. Second stage companies need a different set of resources,
Like what?
like help with strategic planning, accessing larger sources of funding, and even guidance on managing a growing team and navigating those more complex business decisions.
Okay, so we've got all these different types of businesses and all these different resources to help them succeed.
It's a lot.
But it still feels kind of overwhelming, you know? Like, where do you even begin to find the right resources for your specific business idea?
That's where networking comes in.
Ugh, networking.
I know it might seem a bit intimidating at first, but building relationships with other entrepreneurs, mentors, and people in your industry can make a world of difference.
Okay, but networking can be kind of awkward, right?
Like, how do you even approach people and ask for help without feeling like you're bothering them?
That's a valid concern, but here's the thing. Most people are actually really willing to help others,
Really?
especially when it comes to sharing their experiences and expertise.
Hmm.
It's all about approaching it with the right mindset.
What do you mean by the right mindset? Like, what are some tips for networking without feeling awkward or out of place?
Well, first of all, remember that you're not asking for a handout.
Okay.
You're simply seeking advice and guidance from someone who's been there and done that.
Okay, so it's more about learning from their experience than asking for favors.
Exactly. And the best way to learn is to ask thoughtful questions.
Okay.
Show that you're genuinely curious and interested in their journey.
So don't just ask for money or connections, ask for advice and insights.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And don't underestimate the power of simply listening.
Yeah.
People love to talk about themselves and their experiences, so let them share their stories and absorb as much information as you can. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But how do you even find these people to network with?
Right.
Like, where do you even start?
That's a great question. And it's something we'll definitely dive deeper into in the next part of our deep dive.
Okay.
We'll talk about specific strategies for building your network, finding mentors, and making those all-important connections.
Awesome. I'm already feeling more confident about this whole entrepreneurship thing.
Good.
It's starting to feel less like a giant mountain and more like a challenging but exciting adventure.
That's the spirit. And remember, we're here to help you navigate this journey.
Yeah.
We've got a ton more resources and tips to share, so stay tuned for the next part of our deep dive.
All right.
So before the break, we were talking about how important networking is,
Yeah, especially for young entrepreneurs.
especially for young entrepreneurs.
Yeah, it can be a bit scary, though.
It can.
Like walking into a room full of people you don't know.
Totally get that. But remember what Alana Mueller said in Open to Networking.
Yeah.
It's not about being the loudest voice in the room.
Yeah.
It's about making genuine connections.
Right. And she had that awesome point about how even grabbing a cup of coffee with someone
Yeah.
can lead to amazing things.
It's like planting a seed. You never know what might grow from a simple conversation.
Yeah.
But you gotta plant those seeds first.
Okay, so let's say you've got your killer business idea
Okay,
and you're ready to start building your network.
perfect. Mueller suggests starting with 4 lists.
Lists.
Yeah.
Kind of lists. Like grocery lists, to-do lists.
Not quite. First, list all the people you already know. Your family, friends, teachers, coaches,
Okay.
even that friendly barista at your favorite coffee shop.
So tap into your existing network even if they're not business people.
Exactly. You never know who might have a connection or a piece of advice that could be helpful.
Okay, what's next on the list-making spree?
Think about people you'd like to meet.
Okay.
Maybe it's that local business owner you admire or someone who's crushing it in your field. Think big.
Ooh. So like if I'm obsessed with designing video games,
Yeah,
I could try to connect with someone who works at a gaming company.
exactly. Or maybe an indie game developer who's already successful.
Yeah.
The goal is to identify people who inspire you and who can offer valuable insights.
Got it. What about organizations? Do they fit into this whole list thing?
Absolutely. Make a list of groups that align with your interests or business goals.
Okay.
It could be your school's business club, a local chamber of commerce, or even online forums where entrepreneurs hang out.
So find your tribe, basically.
Yes. Surround yourself with people who get what you're trying to do.
Okay, cool.
And last but not least, Mueller talks about creating a list of your personal values.
Values. What do those have to do with networking?
Your values are your guiding principles. They help you figure out what's important to you.
Right.
When you're networking, it's important to connect with people who share your values, people who you genuinely respect and admire.
So it's not just about getting ahead, it's about building relationships with people you actually vibe with.
Exactly. Networking is about finding your community, your support system, and making connections that feel authentic.
That makes so much sense. Okay, so we've got our list, we're feeling confident, but how do we actually approach these people? Like, what do we say?
Remember, people love talking about themselves and their experiences, so
Ah.
ask them questions. Be genuinely curious about their journey, their challenges, and their successes.
Is it like, hey, I'm really interested in what you're doing. Would you be willing to chat with me about your experience?
Perfect. Keep it simple and genuine.
Okay.
You can even mention a specific project they worked on or an article they wrote that caught your eye. It shows you've done your research and you're serious about learning.
Okay, that's a good tip. What about social media?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a good way to connect with people?
Social media can be a powerful tool for networking, especially LinkedIn.
Okay.
It's like a virtual resume where you can showcase your skills and connect with people in your industry.
But isn't LinkedIn more for, like, adults with real jobs?
Not necessarily. You could start building your profile now and connect with people you admire. It's never too early to start building your professional network.
Okay, I'm convinced. I'm going to revamp my LinkedIn profile tonight. But what if you're not the super outgoing type? Like, what if the thought of walking into a networking event makes you want to hide?
I hear you. Networking doesn't have to be all about big events and fancy conferences.
Right.
Start small. Join clubs at school, attend workshops or webinars, even volunteer for organizations that align with your interests.
So find opportunities to connect with people who share your passions, even if it's not in a formal business setting.
Exactly. And remember, every interaction is a chance to practice your networking skills.
Okay.
Strike up conversations with people you meet, ask questions, and be a good listener.
This is actually making networking seem a lot less scary.
Yeah.
It's more about building genuine connections and less about, like, trying to impress people.
That's the key. People can spot insincerity a mile away. Just be yourself. Be curious and focus on building relationships, not just collecting business cards.
Okay, so we've talked about the SBA, different funding options, resource clusters, and now networking.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in.
Where do we even go from here?
Well, remember that the SBA website is your go-to resource for all things entrepreneurship.
Right.
They've got a whole section dedicated to launching your business, covering all the essential legal and administrative stuff.
Legal stuff. That sounds a bit intimidating.
It might seem that way, but the SBA breaks it down into manageable steps.
Okay, like what?
Things like choosing a business structure, registering your business name, getting tax ID numbers, and
Yeah.
applying for any necessary licenses and permits.
Wait, licenses and permits, what are those for?
It depends on your business, but some industries require specific licenses or permits to operate legally.
Oh, okay.
The SBA website has a ton of information about this, so don't worry, they'll guide you through it.
Okay, so they help you navigate the legal maze.
They do.
What else is in that launch your business section?
They also talk about opening a separate business bank account,
Oh, right.
which is super important to keep your personal and business finances separate.
Makes sense. What about insurance? Is that something new businesses need to worry about?
Absolutely. The SBA emphasizes getting the right business insurance to protect yourself and your company from potential risks.
Okay.
It's like wearing a safety helmet when you're skateboarding. You hope you never need it, but it's good to have just in case.
Okay, so we've got the legal stuff, the finances, and the insurance.
Yeah.
But what about the fun stuff like marketing and sales? Does the SBA have any resources for that?
You bet. They have a ton of information on developing a marketing plan, identifying your target audience, and using different marketing channels effectively.
So they can help you get the word out about your awesome business.
Exactly. They cover everything from traditional marketing tactics like advertising and public relations to digital marketing strategies like social media and email marketing.
Okay.
They even have resources on building an online presence and creating a website.
Wow, it's like they've thought of everything. But running a business is about more than just marketing and sales, right?
Right.
What about the day-to-day operations and all those little things that pop up?
That's where the Manage Your Business section comes in.
Okay.
The SBA offers guidance on everything from managing your finances and inventory to handling customer service and staying on top of your taxes.
So it's like they don't just help you launch your business. They're there to support you every step of the way through all the ups and downs.
Exactly. They understand that entrepreneurship is a marathon, not a sprint.
Right.
And they've got your back throughout the entire journey.
This is seriously impressive. I'm starting to see why the SBA is considered such a valuable resource for entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
especially for young people like us who are just starting out.
They're like a one-stop shop for everything you need to know about building and running a successful business.
Yeah.
And they're constantly updating their resources to keep up with the ever-changing world of entrepreneurship.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground today, from navigating the SBA website to understanding resource clusters, mastering the art of networking, and even diving into the nitty-gritty of launching and managing a business.
It's been quite the whirlwind tour.
Yeah.
But before we wrap things up, I want to emphasize one more thing. The importance of finding mentors.
Mentors, like those wise old sages who guide you on your quest.
Kind of. A mentor is someone who's been there, done that, and is willing to share their experience and insights to help you succeed.
So it's like having a personal guide in the world of entrepreneurship.
Exactly. A good mentor can offer advice, support, and encouragement when you need it most.
Yeah.
They can help you avoid common pitfalls, connect you with the right people, and hold you accountable for your goals.
Okay, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
But how do you even find a mentor? Like, do they just magically appear when you need them?
Not quite. Finding a mentor takes effort, but it's so worth it.
Yeah.
We'll dive deeper into this topic in the next part of our deep dive, sharing tips and strategies for finding and connecting with mentors who can help you take your business to the next level.
Awesome. I'm already excited to learn more about this mentor magic. But for now, let's take a little break and absorb all this amazing information. We'll be back soon to finish up our deep dive. Okay, so we're back.
Back for more.
And ready to wrap up our deep dive into resources for entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
I feel like we've uncovered a gold mine of information.
It's pretty amazing how much support is out there, right? For
Yeah.
anyone who wants to start a business.
Right? And like a lot of these resources are specifically designed to help young entrepreneurs like us.
Exactly. There are programs out there that are, tailored to the unique challenges and opportunities that young people face when starting a business.
Speaking of programs, I remember you mentioned something called Empower to Grow earlier. What's that all about?
Oh, yeah. Empower to Grow is an SBA program that focuses on helping women-owned businesses succeed.
So it's like extra support for female entrepreneurs.
Exactly. It provides access to training, counseling, and even funding opportunities specifically designed for women.
That's awesome. I love that they have programs dedicated to supporting specific groups of entrepreneurs.
Absolutely. The SBA also has resources for veteran-owned businesses, minority-owned businesses,
Oh, wow.
LGBTQ-owned businesses, and businesses in rural areas.
Wow. They really do have everyone covered. It's inspiring to see how much they're doing to promote inclusivity and diversity in the business world.
They recognize that entrepreneurs come from all walks of life, right?
Yeah.
And face different obstacles and opportunities.
Okay, so we've talked about the SBA, funding, resource clusters, networking, and even finding mentors.
That's a lot, right?
It's a lot to process.
Yeah, but remember, the most important thing is to take action. Knowledge is power, but only if you use it.
Right. It's not enough to just know about these resources. We have to actually reach out, connect, and make the most of them.
So think about your business idea. What are your strengths? What are your goals? Which of these resources or resource clusters do you think would be most valuable to you?
That's a great question to ask yourself.
Yeah.
Maybe you're drawn to the tech world and those innovation-led resources sound exciting. Or maybe you're passionate about making a difference in your local community and you see yourself as like a Main Street business owner.
Yeah. Whatever your vision, there's support out there waiting for you to tap into it.
And don't forget about networking. Start building your network today. Connect with local resource partners, attend workshops, reach out to mentors, and remember that cup of coffee analogy. You never know what opportunities might arise from a simple conversation.
Yeah, it's all about putting yourself out there, being curious, and building genuine relationships.
And remember, finding a mentor can be a game changer. It's like having a personal cheerleader,
I love that. A cheerleader.
coach and guide all rolled into one.
Yeah, they can offer invaluable advice, support, and connections that can help you navigate the ups and downs of entrepreneurship.
So to sum it all up, if you're dreaming of starting your own business, you're not alone. There's an incredible network of support out there,
Waiting for you.
ready to help you turn your vision into reality.
Keep those entrepreneurial Legos handy.
Explore the SBA website, connect with your local resources, and most importantly, keep that entrepreneurial spirit burning bright.
Yeah.
That's a wrap on our deep dive into resources for entrepreneurs.
Hope you enjoyed it.
We hope you found it informative, inspiring, and maybe even a little bit empowering.
Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep chasing those entrepreneurial dreams.